Hey there, Icarus here. You ever racked up so much gambling debt you end up strapped to an electric chair in a golf dungeon? No? Just me? I feel like I should reflect on my life. But until I do that, there is always PUTT DOWN, which uncannily replicates the scenario I just described. A strange person strides out from the darkness wearing a golf ball mascot head with a creepy smile and offers you a bargain. He will completely erase your debt if you can complete his trial. What must you do? Well, it's you, a double-barrel shotgun, and several rounds of the most twisted mini-golf you've ever played. I'm not sure why I've never seen mini-golf as translated through the eyes of someone who's watched far too many Saw films, but damn, am I here for it. But the conceit follows thusly. You have a limited number of shots to get the ball in the hole, and you can get the ball through two distinct methods. One is by using the stock of your shotgun as a putter, the other is just by blasting it with one of the barrels, or both, depending on how much power you want to put behind the shot. If you don't get the ball in the hole under par, you lose a life. You have 3 lives. Once they're all gone, you get shot in the face. Now, naturally, some may consider this a somewhat stressful scenario, which is why there is also a stress mechanic baked in to PUTT DOWN. If this exceeds a certain percentage, you're going to have an increasingly worse time. This might manifest in what I like to call putt-putt pinheads suddenly ambushing you out of nowhere, allowing you a more traditional usage of your shotgun, or if you're particularly stressed out, you may find that in the middle of a putt shot, the barrel might accidentally discharge. Let's just hope it's not aimed at your face at the time. Mercifully, there is a method to manage your stress, and that's by taking a smoke break.
I'm on psycho! So leave me alone, I'm on psycho!
Smokes are in limited supply, as are a few other aspects of PUTT DOWN, and this is where the coins come into play. The most effective way of getting coin is finishing holes with a number of shots left. That'll grant you bonus coins, and if you're finding yourself coming up particularly short, you can always try your hand at gambling, though I can't guarantee that the outcome will be favorable.
What the f***? It's a mimic?
Either way, these coins can be cashed in at a Bioshock-coded Fairways of Value machine for extra smokes, shells, or even an opportunity to swap out your current course if you're struggling with it. Oh, and by the way, saving is also going to cost you some coin. 4, to be exact. You can do it between each floor, and believe me, it's worth doing practically every single time, because you can never guarantee what fresh hell you're going to have to deal with on the next floor up, and trust me,
Well, no!
having to redo the entire previous floor for something you could not have possibly seen coming the first time round is not a particularly great feeling. It's fortunate then that the actual core of the experience, the actual mini-golfing, is still reasonably enjoyable. I could put up with having to replay once or twice, because at its heart, PUTT DOWN still manages to put a fair few entertaining mini-golf layouts at your feet. As you might imagine, there's a touch of the macabre to a lot of these. Every now and again you'll have to contend with some gruesome course obstacles, ranging from severed arms, heads popping out of holes in the ground, and the occasional corpse just lying there in the middle of the green. You'll have to complete 3 of these in sequence before you can move on to the next floor, but if you fail, you can't always guarantee that it'll be the same exact sequence of layouts, because each floor draws from a randomized pool, and I just love the way that they're deployed, emerging from these trapdoors in the middle of the floor, and I just love this overly elaborate saw trap feel to the entire setup. Especially the ones that have me shooting targets to raise barriers for my ball, while also timing my shots through laser tripwires to avoid getting shot by shotgun turrets. For some that may be nerve-wracking, for me, it's part of the fun.
No!
Now, all that said, it's more than just the challenge of the greens themselves that you're going to have to contend with here in Put Down. There's a variety of elements that will conspire to distract you, or at the very least bring your run to a premature end. We've already talked about the putt-putt pinheads. You may think after a while you can outsmart their ambushes, what with those curiously human-sized boxes they burst out of, but they're not always in the same box twice. In one respect, this can feel quite unforgiving, quite unfair, because after all, you're supposed to have a set number of lives for each floor. Getting taken out by a pinhead, or any of the other things we're going to get to shortly, completely bypasses that and just zeroes you out. But taking that all into account, oh boy does it ratchet up that tension to unreasonable degrees. I mean, on the surface of it, you may look at the layout of its horrors here and find them simple or crude. If anything, I kind of enjoy the grunginess, the low poly, low res grunginess of everything. And honestly, it's testament to the setup that even if you're being pursued by something that by all rights is visually comical, read here an oversized Furby knockoff that only moves when you're not paying attention to it, you're still acutely aware of the consequences of failure. I'm just whiffing them. I'm just whiffing it. I should stop. And that is where the real fear creeps in. You can't afford to take it lightly, because even though it looks dumb, it can still send you packing all the way back to the elevator, or even the previous floor if you've forgotten to hit one of those saves. Now, by all rights, you could be forgiven for thinking that surely the novelty will wear off after a while. You'll acclimatize to these spooks, these horrors, these setups. But honestly, that's where the real genius of Put Down lies. It's always tweaking the setup. It's always adding a sense of escalation. And nowhere is that more keenly felt than when you're having to deal with this son of a bitch. You see, Big Baller over here, much like the Furbies, eat shotgun shells for breakfast. They don't do anything. And instead, if you're unfortunate enough to be caught within his line of sight in the middle of a backswing, he will run you down. Unless you hide in the locker. That's right. Dealing with this guy turns Put Down into alien isolation. Only the Xenomorph is trying to distract you from playing a perfect round. Now, Put Down could have easily rested on its laurels, have this be a singular scenario that turns up multiple times without much variation. But instead, it keeps embellishing. It keeps adding more of those bird traps, more of those Furbies. There's one latter level that nearly gave me an anxiety attack towards the end, because even though I'd done my 3 putts flawlessly, I still needed to turn off a steam vent that was blocking the exit. And that led to probably one of the most tension-filled crawls around the level I've experienced in recent memory. And I was so freaked out that I ended up doing a slapstick routine where I slipped on golf balls at least 3 times in a row. Stop. Now, am I going to sit here and tell you that this is a completely flawless game? No, there are certainly elements of jank to it. The way your vision snaps to a certain direction when you've finished a putt can occasionally be less than helpful. The way the putting works itself, it's not just the backswing, it's also the follow-through. But by all rights, these complaints are inconsequential. And if anything, they help serve enhance the tension rather than detract from it. It's all in service of delivering the most tension-riddled rounds of minigolf you're ever likely to experience. If anything, it's left me with a hankering for more of this kind of experience. And wouldn't you know it, Put Down actually forms part of a greater horror golfing universe. This is actually a spin-off of a preceding game by the name of Gone Golfing. I've not had a chance to fully dive into it as yet, but for me, it's a no-brainer. I had so much fun with Put Down, and I'm looking forward to the ride that Gone Golfing is going to take me on next. I'm hoping this has managed to pique your interest in the concept of horror golfing, and if that indeed turns out to be the case, you can find the link to both games in the description below. In any case, I hope you've enjoyed this edition of What the Heck. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, it all helps along, it keeps me going, and until next time, this has been Mr. Icarus. Thank you very much for watching. Icarus out.